Josh Pastner, big win for the Jackets the other night, knocking off Miami. With that said, let's hit the road with the Yellow Jackets and see what's going on with Josh Pastner. And there's Coach right there on the team bus as they arrive in Tallahassee. First of all, Coach, Happy New Year. And, man, congratulations. Your team really played well, especially down the stretch, closing out Miami the other night. That was something else.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. That was a great win. There was no doubt about that. A couple things. I'm wearing the same suit as we wore on Wednesday, but I did get it dry cleaned right away. So hopefully that could bring it. Hopefully that could bring it good luck for us on that. So I got everything the same. I did make sure I washed my undershirt, socks, and underwear, but I'm wearing the same one. So, but it's all washed. And then the second thing, and my only disappointment is after the game, instead of saying, that's a heck of a win, I said HELL. So I apologize about that. Because, I don't use any foul language. So that was probably the worst word I've used maybe in a long time. So I should have said heck. But that being said, it was a great win. I was proud of the guys. And it was, look, we didn't play well against Virginia or Clemson. We just did not play well against either one. And then you also, we were coming in off of 2 tough losses, not playing well with either game. And to bounce back like that was a really good win for us because you just never know. And that's what makes sports great. You just don't know. And our energy was great, and we found a way to win. It was really cool. It was a good win to have. Now we go to a tough, into Tallahassee against Florida State. As you know, in life in the ACC, you just don't know. I mean, as you guys have mentioned, you've talked about it many times. I mean, who would have projected Clemson and Pittsburgh playing for the ACC lead in the league tomorrow? So it's just a wide open league from top to bottom. Anybody can win. By the way, Pac, you might know this. You know who's a great singer? I was just because I've listened to him. I don't mean to talk about your age because you look like you're 30. You really do. I know, but is it John Fogerty from the Creedence Clearwater? You know what I'm talking about?
John Fogerty.
Man, how great is his voice? Was his voice unbelievable? I mean, and yes. I loved his hair. And I loved his hair. I just didn't know. I knew. Look, I've talked about Sheena Easton and Kenny Rogers in '83 in the Greensboro Coliseum. We've got tonight. Yeah. That's a heck of a deal. I know. But I didn't know if you were around for Creedence Clearwater. I think he was a pretty good singer too.
Yeah, John. It's funny that you bring up John Fogerty because every time I go to get my hair cut, that's exactly what I tell the little girl. I say, cut it just like John Fogerty, and look what it ends up looking like. It's kind of crazy how it works out.
Well, your two counterparts there, they're way too young for that. Way too young.
We're with you, Coach Pastner. We have absolutely no idea what you're talking about right now, but we're going to play along and smile. It's totally fine. If we want to talk a little bit of basketball here, you guys have used 6 different starting lineups this season, and I know for you as a coach, you want to obviously be winning, but there's something to be said about the journey. What's it been like for you this season, trying to toy and figure out your lineup, and you come to this point against Miami where you finally pull off this huge win and start to see the fruits of your labor?
Yeah, look, we've tinkered and adjusted, and we're still a young team, and we've had some good wins. We've also have had some struggles. That's one of the things in college basketball compared to the NBA. You're playing 82 games. You can have some highs, some lows. In college basketball, every game is so important, and you're trying to figure out as you move forward, knowing that if you do take a loss, it could end up biting you in the rear later on, whether it's in the league standings for seeding and obviously for the NCAA tournament. So, we're in a stretch here. You got Florida State, you got at Notre Dame, and then we're back home for a 3-game home streak. So homestand. So, all these games are just, every possession is precious. I always tell our guys, EPIP, every possession is precious. You can't take it for granted. And you have the schedule pulled up right there. I mean, there's just no easy games wherever you look. And the league is wide open. Anybody can beat anybody. That's what I think makes this league tremendous, is you just don't know on any given night.
Now, Coach, coming off this Miami win, I mean, at the time, Miami was arguably, if not arguably, the number one team in the ACC at the time. You know, what is that doing for your team? How have you seen the culture around there? Guys just, hey, are they a little more lively knowing that, hey, now they can get after it?
Well, I told our guys we got to show maturation and maturity. I mean, we had a great win. You celebrate it. You hug the win. I always talk about after you win, you just want to hug the win. I don't know, it's not a material thing, but you just hug wins. But then the next day, you got to get back to work, and you've got to get focused, and you got to let that game go, and we've got to show good maturity, in a toughness that we can bounce back and ready to play, at a high level like we did on Wednesday. We got to be able to do it back to back, and that will be a great test for us on tomorrow afternoon versus Florida State. Now I know you guys were talking earlier in the show that about early starts. We're at 1:00. Pack, are you going to be up for that, or is that too early for you?
I get up normally about 4 a.m.
I'm saying he going to be
but
up.
I know
Is your energy going to be up?
But you were mentioning that the early starts, just that's you weren't as sure on the noon starts, the 1:00 starts.
I don't think we should be playing basketball games or football games before lunchtime. That's what I think. I mean, I'd tell you that.
I will say this: we do. I will say this in those, and all three of you will agree with this. When you do win the game, and it's an early tip, those are the best because you get to go home and watch the rest of the games in the evening and relax. But if you don't win the game, it's a long
day.
Listen, I'm just glad that you found the bus because you guys haven't been on the road since December the 10th. I mean, it's been a while since I'm just glad you found a way out of Atlanta.
Well, it's been a while, and what I'm looking forward to, is with a bunch of kids at my house and having a little 1-year-old that a lot of times sleeps between my wife and I, and so I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. I will be sleeping well tonight in the hotel room. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm going to let you get a head start on that before you get ready for Florida State. You guys have beaten the Noles 3 straight. I appreciate you making the time during a crazy travel schedule. And again, nothing better than a John Fogerty reference. If anybody had that bet before the show started today, you won a lot of money. But again, Happy New Year and continued success.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate you three are doing an awesome job. And I tell you, last year, I said all the time with Pac and when Wes was there about the accounting, about the fouls. And I made my stink to the league office all the time. I said, here's the proof. I think they were mad that you kept putting that up there, but I kept talking about that. So hopefully we continue to, the calls go our way. That's important too.
Coach, the infamous ACC index card has already made an appearance, so it is not going anywhere. It's followed me. It's been connected to my hip since 1997, and as long as I'm still doing shows, it will be on the program. So it's alive and well.
That's great. Well, I'll be using it. If it's not in our favor, I'm going right to the league office. Don't worry.
We'll talk to you later. Good luck this weekend. See you later.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
There's Josh.